Hello there again. I'm trying to get through the. I'm trying to get through the remainder of these little bits back to our program, which is looking kind of cool and interesting, and let's get back to it. Now, one of the things to do with this list control. I wonder why this is happening. Oh, there's probably a resource leak. Yeah, okay, let's go name 3. Get item tag. Oh yeah, you can't use, by the way, you can't use these functions during a sort. So if you thought that was one way I could do this, the name sorting, you can't. Because the things are moving around, and this function is, its result would be unpredictable. Let's see, so yeah, now so the list control thing is great. You can make you can add those items and columns and do the sorting and everything, and it's got a relatively easy interface. Well, for the things that I'm using, what am I doing? I'm using 2 functions, I think. Well, 3. Although maybe I could use this. I might need to use that sometime. And what is it? Set item to set an item, and then I use set item text to add sub items. Right? Somewhere in here. I don't do that. State get item text. Here. That's the one I've been using. Or this represents a column. So it's simple. So an item is an entire row is one item. And in my case, I want the rows to represent those user assist things, the data in the structure. So really, some of them shouldn't be there at all. Or maybe we'll leave them out next time. Now I'm drawing on the left-hand side those icons, and that involves the use of something called a image list. Now, this TsImageList is just a copy almost of the TsImageList, both of which are wrappers around this handle. And this is a thing that you can create in Windows called an image list, which stores, it provides a storage area for an array, essentially, of images that have the same properties in terms of dimensions and their color depth. You can't mix, as far as I know, and I wouldn't want to anyway. So you can include any kind of image, including icons. Well, an icon itself might be an image list, actually, because if you put icons into an image list, you have to specify what size, like if you add an icon. I don't know if I feel like I've gone through this, but I might not have uploaded what I went through. Here I've added a bunch of functions called add icon from various things, a file or resource or stock. Hang on a second. I have to check if I've already done this. Okay, I've done it, but I've never uploaded the file where I did it. And I could probably cut stuff from there and put it in here, but maybe it's just easier to go through it. Now this idea of an image list, to me, seems like one of those rare occasions when Microsoft did something right. That is, this thing is a very useful utility, especially for dealing with large numbers of images. And you create the thing however it's created. I don't even have these implemented. Do I? Yeah, one of them. Oh, it's there. It takes X, Y. In this case, you might define a custom sized image, right? But I'm dealing with icons, so these are I've called icon lists. So their size is given by one of these system metric type things, right? And there's either large or small. I should rename this really. Large icon. Current project. Okay. But that's not the only place I use those words. Hey, that matches up. Unbelievable. I thought that was a different number of letters. Now let me see now. Where else do I use the word? Yeah, here, all of these. Okay, so this should say large icon. I don't know why, but help uses the word large and small. Even though the large size is, well, it's an unknown. It depends on what. Oh, I see what that would make sense, because large means anything other than the one size that goes with small. So it could be a great big icon, potentially. Now, these are all just wrappers around this function, and retrieving the icons from the various locations I've given here. Either from a file, that would be an executable or DLL file, or a resource in a current, so that's our current image, like that might be IDI icon 1 or something. And these ones stock. These are ones like IDI exclamation or something, right? So you'll notice that these ones don't take an integer identifier, they take a string. Right? Now one could use the fact that the argument is different, but it would be too confusing. Stock is good because it sounds like a stock object, right? And also the way that these things are loaded is slightly different than the way you would load this kind of thing. But the great thing about the image list thing, even though if you're using this class, you don't have to worry about that yourself, is this. Suppose I'm loading into my image list an icon from a file. The two functions are essentially the same. So I've just made one function that takes an argument. What's the difference here? File, large or small, index, file name. No, these shouldn't be the same. Oh, I see it. Right. I forgot. I've used the same thing that this function uses. It doesn't matter. You don't have to know that, but I'll show you anyway. There is a function to extract an icon from an executable or DLL. It's called extract icon AX. And what that thing returns to you is a number of icons, arbitrary, either large or small or both, depending on what the parameters you pass in. And the parameters are the name of the file, okay, the index. Now this would be the starting index to start reading icons from. Two arrays of one for large icons and one for small icons. So these are arrays of handle values and some count. Now I'm not really sure if the count pertains to the sum of these things, of the elements in these arrays, or half the sum. Right? Like if I say 3, maybe that means load 3 of these and 3 of these. It's not that important because I only ever load one image. But I'll check the help. If it'll just come up here. And uint icons. The number of icons. That's still not totally clear, right? Pointer to an array of handles to icons. Null for none. Null for none. Same. Index, zero base index of the first icon. -1. Null. Oh, okay, you can get the total number if you want it. If the thing is a exe or DLL, the return value is the number of such rows, these resources. If it's an icon value, you just get 1. Well, that makes sense. RT group icon, resource type group icon, is really the resource group that corresponds to the icons that are used, not RT icon. Group icon is a whole collection of icons of different sizes and one icon in your program. If I think I have an icon here. Either one of these refers to a group of pictures, not to one picture. This refers to a group of pictures. Okay. Now I don't know if I can see them all. I doubt it. There might only be one. Sometimes there's only one, and it has to generate this bigger and smaller sizes dynamically. But that's not important. The important thing is, depending on whether it's this array, whether this is null or this is null, it's getting large or small. So going back to these two functions, this would get things in the second list, so small icons, small. This would get things in the first list, so large, right? Alright, fair enough. And you'll notice that I'm not using this in any way. In fact, I'm only using that as a flag for this function. Here, it loads one of the other icons. It asserts that only one of them is valid, one and only one. Extracts only one picture. Now this auto icon just causes there to be a delete icon, or destroy or delete. Destroy icon on the exit. Because when you load an icon from another, like a program resource, then it has to create an actual picture. Not like when you extract something from your own program. It doesn't need any more memory, it's already there. Then I found this magic function. It's like two things. This ImageList, the ImageList thing, and this get icon info, which I don't know how I found it online. Somebody managed to run into this function, and it does exactly what you need in order to add an icon to an image list. To add or any picture really. In the case of icons, what we want is we want to maintain the transparency, right? Like icons have a transparency. They have different shapes. So there are several ways you could use it. You could look for a color key or something, but the easiest way is to have one pick the picture part and another bitmap. These are bitmaps, and another bitmap that would contain an alpha mask, just ones and zeros in the case of a color key. And that's what this load icon info or get icon info does for you. Is it retrieves an icon info structure, okay, that contains two bitmaps. One, a mask bitmap, even if there's no mask in the icon itself, it'll create one, and another H bitmap. Excuse me. With the color value. So you get the color values and the mask. And now this auto GDI object just deletes these things on exit when they go out of scope. Once these things have been added into the image list, you can destroy any of the resources that you might have used. This thing makes a copy of all the resources so that you don't have to do any of the memory management part associated with this object. So that's perfect. You don't have to remember all this stuff. It's all remembered inside the the handle that this thing is managing. It's just this handle. Okay. Now adding an icon from a program resource is slightly different. Large or small, the same code. We just do load image. That's similar to load icon or get icon. Load image, identifier, size that you want, and some flags. And when you create an icon in this manner, it has to be destroyed in the end. Eventually, anyway. This allocates memory. I think the other one, the load icon or get icon, doesn't. But if you want to, the only way to get the small icon is to use this function. So And that's why those icons look nice now. Because I instead of taking the large icon and shrinking that picture by hand, I can load the small ones immediately, and they somehow or other it looks much nicer. These sizes were supplied by the caller using get system metrics for large and small. So in that case, you have to have, there would have been a handle to an image that we would have had to remember to delete, but with the image list, we don't have to, because it's being maintained internally in there. So that's another bonus. Lastly, stock. Just again, similar functionality for both. It's also a load image. However, it uses it has to be LR shared type. Turns out, otherwise the function fails. Alright, so now these are stock ones. So these have been loaded with the shared flag. So that actually means that no memory was allocated here in this call, and that no memory is being freed by this, but it maintains a reference count. So for every load, you have to have one destroy, was it? Destroy, yeah. I got autos for everything. Now, once all those things are in that list, and every time you add something from that list, it returns to you an index, and the index is the one that you use to refer back to that image again. So you can reuse the same image by just choosing an index. It's like an image strip. It's an image strip, just like you would use for games. In fact, if you wanted to, you could make an image. I could make an image list with all the pictures of the little horsey and play the animation by just displaying a different image from my image list. Right? It's the same thing. It's just exactly what I was doing to obtain the next an image. You just need a number, and from that number you can draw the image. See, like there's draw, taking a destination HDC, right? Image number. I think I even wrote this. I did write this function for my when I was using the single image, right? In the like in an image strip type thing. I had a destination. I didn't have color keys. The size of the image and the destination point, which was, this would always be the same. This would always be the same, but this would change. Now, I don't know about this overlay stuff. Another thing that this image list thing has is the ability to copy an image from one index to another index in the list. So if you wanted to, for instance, you might have one image that is blank or something, and you want to just flush everything out. You could copy your blank image over top of everything to start over again. You can also copy from another image list into your image list, and there's flags. Draw indirect allows you to draw onto draw an image indicated by this n image to some device context at a given position with a given size, and origin. Origin is the origin within like the image strip, I think. I forget. It's not that important because I never use it. But I do use an image list to manage these icons. In my program, I have these are indices for various icons that are used over and over again. One for that IDI exclamation, one question mark, standard at, the control panel picture that I reuse, the file not found picture, and unknown MSC file. That's the thing with the toolbox here. Now, this doesn't have to be that image. I could examine this now because I have the XML code. I can go in and find out which DLL or executable contains the icon resource, and it'll tell me which one to use. And then I can use the same code and add that picture into my image list. Each of these items contains an index that indicates which picture belongs with it. So I had to move this to a global area for another reason. An item, or I've called this load data. Now everything's wrongly named. This is essentially the item, right? It has a name. This should be path or something, and some other data, an integer identifying its picture, and this happens to be the binary data associated with the item, which is sometimes the special user assist struct, and sometimes something else. More often it's the user assist struct. So it's actually quite easy now to load those things in. The first thing the program does is create one of these lists. It's declared. And it creates a small icon list, no parameters. This can be on a different line. It should be. Okay. So that's pretty easy. That can go together. These go together. So let me stop this. So all you do now is just call this create, which doesn't do much. Just calls another create, which is this one that has X and Y, and the type of these flags tell you what variety of images what they'll be in the file, in the list, sorry. And this means the images have an alpha mask, and this is they have some flags defined for bits per pixel. Okay, there's a 32-bit or 24-bit or 16-bit thing, and these are defined here. Okay, so they are flat. Are they flags? No, they're not flags. But I don't know why it's going up by 4s. Oh yeah, okay. The 4 is 4, 8 is 8, okay. 16 is 16, and so on. So that is actually bits per pixel, but since the maximum is 32, the remaining top nibbles are used for flags. Do we want mirrored, whatever this thing is, I don't know. Is there a palette? No. Oh, and then this mask here, I see well, they're really making use of these bits. Because there's never, if there is a 1-bit image, if there were a 1-bit image, right, that is a 2-color image, then it would be a mask, right? That would be an alpha mask for a color key type image. So it's, you can use this either way. Okay. I don't know about all this stuff. See, this is 0. I don't know. Color DB. That's obviously the not of something. E is, so that's just 0. That's everything 1s except the last bit. Color device dependent bit mapping. But we don't use those. You can only use one type, and I'm just saying mask plus color depth. Oh yes, now as far as growing and shrinking the list, it's all handled internally. But in the MFC style, you can specify an initial allocated amount and how much it should grow by when it needs to grow, when we need to grow the array. So it starts at 16, and once we put in 16 images, if we try to add another, then it'll grow it to 32, and so on. Very simple. Delete image list. All that does is call a function. It's a function. These are functions, right? And that class is just a wrapper around this function set. Add icon happens to be a macro, and that's the same as replacing at position -1. That has the effect of appending. If you replace at position -1, turns out that means add a new entry to the list. Okay, so that's ImageList. I'm not giving you the nitty-gritty details. You know enough to look it up. C ImageList is a place to look, or H ImageList there. Okay, and the functions, either way you look at it, like this way, or through the C MFC class, or otherwise, amounts to the same thing. It all amounts to the same thing. Now, is there anything else I wanted to say about this image list? Besides that, it's really great. Add masked. I can't think of anything, but I know that I saw some things in here that made me think that this is a really a well thought out container for images. Let me just think for a second. Well, I guess I could add that one of the things that simplified this type of type of thing is having these functions, right? That can get me the system path. So I'm using that here. So that makes that easier. And that's about it, I guess. Now I want to go on to discussing this program. I'm going to rename it to, and I've added a bunch of things. One of the things I just added, and I want to add one more column. In fact, I needed a way to get at the string identifier, so that's why I ended up out here making this structure global, because the sorting thing happens in a non-member function. I could pass in this pointer, right? And probably should, but instead I just well, no, the items are not. I could have had this pointer, and then have a call of some kind of member function. That's not important. In any event, I can now sort by name. I also added the click again to sort in the other direction feature. This here by date. Finally, this has become a 6, by the way. And now we're seeing 6 5s, right? Sometimes 6 1. Well, I don't think this is days running. It's some other kind of number. It definitely pertains to this array of entries, right? If there's a 6 here, even if things are blank, that means that 5 of these things are in use. You see, for all of these, the empty ones start here. Now this is a 6, but it hasn't. It could, I'm sure it could, if it wrote anything for this particular one, which I haven't used today, it's going to write its data for today here when it finally does that, I think. Or this may be from yesterday, so I would have to run it. And when was the last day I ran it recently? I think it was. Was it yesterday? I don't know. I should run it. Let's run it. Now, if you look down, as these 6, I only have 6s, don't I? So this is of more interest. 5s. Okay. Now that seems to indicate that this goes from 0 to 5, right? Let's see. Now this will go. Now here's a 4. 4 starts there, and that only goes up to 4. All of them. See? Now I bet this is going to be a 3. It is. See what I'm saying? Okay, so that's good. I think we know what this is now. That's basically the size of this array. All right. you'll notice as well, I'll click this again. This is using a signed comparison, whereas this one's not. If I sort like with this one, that's just because I didn't declare it. The largest one turns out to be -1, right? And that's because this is using an unsigned comparison, because those things are declared as dwords. If I want to fix that, all I do, this worries me a little bit, is go to the definition of user assist, struct, what is it? No, here, and that was, which one was that? It had 5s and 6s, days running. Change this to an int, so that changes the comparison into a signed comparison, and then the sorting will work properly. Is this one? Sometimes it has -1. We'll see. The counter is positive for sure. Well, anyway, this is getting on to the actually trying to solve this problem, which is I think I'm done with the little utils, and now it's time to actually look closely at this data. That was days running. Let's just change. Okay, so now it's correct. Uh-oh. 6. Oh, I've only got 6. It's only 6 or -1. One of them is a -1 and the rest are 6. Turns out. Now what else has negatives? Any of these? Okay, I'm going to stop this. You know about ImageList, or you have enough to learn more about it, and we're going to get on to looking at this structure. See you.